Hello, this is Kate, the Daily Tarot Girl, and welcome to your weekly tarot card reading. For this week's reading, I am using the Elemental Wisdom Tarot. This is a deck by Taroteca Studio, and I'm also joined by my kitty Merlina, who just, as soon as I started talking, she started chattering in the background. She loves to be a part of these reading videos. Okay, so I'm going to draw 3 cards for our week ahead. And don't forget, if you enjoy this reading, please subscribe to my channel and feel free to leave me a comment. It would mean the world to me. Okay. All right, so I want to show you, before I dive into the cards, I want to show you this new crystal that I just got that I am so in love with. It's amethyst, but it's so dark and juicy and rich. I just love it. I've never seen amethyst this like deep and rich before. Yeah, so I'm just going to put it to the side here. Okay, so let's have a look at the first card. Now, my intention with this reading is to get an kind of an overview of some of the themes, some of the energies, the opportunities for our week ahead so that we can make the most of things. So we have the 6 of Wands for the beginning of the week. Now, the first thing I am noticing about the 6 of Wands is that this feels like a very confident card. Like the woman on this card is just exuding confidence and that self-assured energy. And there's a real energized feeling with this card. So we're starting the week off on a pretty powerful note, I would say. 6 of Wands is all about success, but most importantly, it's about being able to see yourself as a successful person and to believe that you're capable of whatever it is that you're trying to succeed in, whatever you're wanting to be more successful in, really believing in yourself and seeing yourself as successful is the secret sauce that's going to get you there. So 6 of Wands tells you at the beginning of the week, I think it's important to kind of tap into that confident energy and practice seeing yourself succeeding in whatever it is that you're trying to succeed in. And this could even be something like, maybe you have like a difficult social thing that you're going to, something that you're kind of feeling nervous about or stressed out about. And visualizing yourself going to that event and feeling confident, feeling relaxed, enjoying yourself. It's kind of having a visual of yourself succeeding in whatever realm you're wanting to feel more confident and self-assured in. Yeah, so nice energy for the start of the week. I love it. I also think that some of us are going to be feeling a little bit more kind of revved up and a little more jazzed up and passionate about certain things. So if you've been struggling with feeling kind of a dip in that area and feeling like you're just not super excited about things, the 6 of Wands brings this like fresh kind of energy, and it's a very virile, almost an erotic kind of energy, like a real lifeblood pulsing, passionate kind of energy. So I like that that's how we're kind of starting the week. And then as we move into the week, we have a big shift in energy. We have the 8 of Swords. And when I was talking about confidence with the 6 of Wands, 8 of Swords can really symbolize a lack of confidence, like believing. If the 6 of Wands is about believing in yourself and seeing yourself as successful and thinking about yourself as a successful person, 8 of Wands or 8 of Swords is kind of the opposite energy. It can be about believing things about yourself or your situation that are actually way worse than reality. So thinking, like believing that you're not capable of overcoming something, or thinking that your situation is completely insurmountable and totally hopeless, when the reality is that that is just not true. So it's like the opposite of seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. You're seeing the world through brown-colored glasses or something like that. So we start the week off on a high note with the Six of Wands, this burst of energy and confidence, and then we kind of experience the opposite of that at some point. So Eight of Swords is inviting you to question your own thoughts and your own beliefs about yourself as it relates to your ability to overcome certain things, your ability to figure certain things out or achieve things, your ability to succeed in any particular area of life. Question your own thoughts around this. I should specify your negative thoughts. Don't necessarily question the positive thoughts, but questioning the negative thoughts. And don't necessarily believe your own mind all of the time. Take your own self-talk with a grain of salt. Now, Eight of Swords shows that you may experience, you may come up against feeling limited in some way, or feeling stuck, or feeling like you would like to do this thing or that thing, but you feel like your hands are tied and you can't. It's this experience of powerlessness. And sometimes it can be this experience of like feeling like everything around you is stormy and it's moving around and you have no power to affect your environment. You're just like a boat tossed upon a stormy sea, and you're being tossed about and you're just floating around. You feel like you have no control over anything. But the Eight of Swords is actually saying that isn't true. It's not true. And I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this. Yeah, it's saying you are not as powerless as you think you are. But I want to turn the next card over because I want to see what message that one has. Ooh. Okay. So here we have the Fool. So the Fool is a major arcana card. And it's so interesting that all three of these cards are very different. Each card has a very different energy. So with the Fool, the energy is optimistic, it's hopeful. It's almost like you have a stormy night, a dark night of the soul, but then in the morning, the rain clears, the sun comes out, you wake up, you feel refreshed, it's a new day, dawn of a new day. So the Fool is all about being optimistic, but more than anything, it's about newness and starting a new journey, starting a new path. And there's so many different ways that we can do that this week. So if you start a new project, or maybe you get a new job, or you do something new, maybe you sign up for a course or something like that, or simply experimenting with changing some of your thoughts, like approaching things from a new perspective. That's another way that the Fool can show up, like experimenting with being more optimistic or seeing things with fresh eyes. There's a real freshness to the Fool. And there's almost like a childlike playfulness. And it is a naive card as well. But I feel like it isn't so much about the downside of being naive. It's about the upside of being naive. Okay, so I feel like the Fool's message to us is towards the end of the week, the weekend. This is a great time to kind of get out of your comfort zone, get out of your usual routine and try some new things. That's going to bring this new energy in. That's really going to help you have new experiences and shift some of your old patterns. What I see here, Eight of Swords to me makes me think of being stuck in old patterns, specifically thought patterns, because this is the suit of swords, and swords is all about the mind and the mental state and thoughts and thinking. So if you've been stuck in a rut lately with your thoughts, if you've been if the gears in your mind have been always turning in the same direction, the Fool shows that things start to kind of shift towards the end of the week. which feels really good. And it's saying, hey, this is a good opportunity to kind of step out of your usual patterns, your usual routines, and just try something new. And it doesn't have to be a big change. It doesn't have to be a massive thing. It could be something small and very doable and something very non-intimidating. Okay, let's look at all of these cards together. Let's see if there's anything else to add here. I feel like this reading is bookended by the Six of Wands and the Fool. And both of these cards do feel like they have a similar energy, like they are quite confident. There's an exuberant kind of bursting forth sort of energy. You know, he's blowing on this trumpet. She's kind of got this thing going on with her cleavage. For some reason that feels similar to the Fool in a way. And they're both looking in different directions, but it's like they're bookending the Eight of Swords. So I feel like whatever we go through with the Eight of Swords this week, and of course everyone's going to experience these cards differently. It's not like we're all going to have the same week. We're all going to have different experiences, but however we experience the Eight of Swords, I feel like it's bookended by these two lovely cards that are so confident. And it's almost like starting the week off on this really confident, excited note can sometimes like bring up like some of the more negative stuff, some of your fears, some of your anxieties, some of the stuff you're struggling with. And it's because you're ready to face it. Like this woman in the Six of Wands, she is ready to face anything. She is ready to go. So yeah, I think that for some of us, a lot of our old patterns around limitation and stuckness and what we believe to be true about ourselves might kind of come to the surface this week, but it's not going to be major. It's not going to affect the whole week. And we're going to kind of come out the other side like the Fool. So overall, I feel like this week is about feeling excited, feeling optimistic, really being able to see yourself succeeding. And one last thing I want to say before I close the reading, and I should say you're always free to share your own take on these cards in the comments below. And you can also share like how these cards have shown up for you this week, or how you're experiencing them. I always love to read those comments. But one last thing I want to say before I go is the Fool is about letting go of expectations and plans. So I think of the Fool as being like the kind of world traveler who doesn't really have a plan, doesn't really have an itinerary, just kind of gets on a bus and sees where it takes them, and then just wanders into a pub and sees who he sees there and who he talks to, and then just kind of wanders and doesn't really have a specific destination or a plan, but it's just very open and wants to experience new things. And if we can get to that place where we let go of some of our rigid plans and ideas and itineraries and just experience something with an open heart and an open mind and in a very experimental way. Like, I don't know if you've ever done this before, if you've gone to like a workshop or a class or a social event or something where you're just like, I'm not going to have any preconceived idea of how this is going to go. I'm just going to go and see what happens and just be open to whatever happens. That can be a lot of fun. And I feel like that's kind of what the Fool is encouraging us to do this week. Okay. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading. I hope you found it helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you feel called to. And check out my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I'll put the link below. And I hope you have a fabulous week.